Alright, since nobody on YouTube has sewing instructions for ferret bedding, I decided to make some videos on how I make my bedding. So the first thing I'm going to start with is a regular hammock. And what you're going to start with is you're going to cut 2 squares of fabric. This is cotton print and fleece. And one of the rules I say is, especially if you're just eyeing it, if you think you made it big enough, you haven't. Make it bigger.
Mom, are you
this square is, these 2 squares are about 14.5 inches by 14.5 inches. The ribbon is about 10 inches. And I have 4 of those cut.
And
so I got them right here. Lizzie, honey, hush. I have my little helpers in here with me, so excuse their talking. So you want to start off with, you take your 2 squares and you put them right on top of each other. And you're going to put the pretty sides together. As you can see, that's pretty side and pretty side. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to fold that to kind of help it keep its shape. And then you're going to take and fold this over some and line your ribbon up with your corner. And you want it to kind of like you're trying to go towards the middle of the square. Okay. And you fold this back over. It's kind of hard to do this one-handed. Okay, once you get it folded over, kind of adjust it, and then you're going to pin it right there at the corner. Okay, I'm going to do all 4 corners and then I'll come back. Alright, once you have your 4 corners pinned with your ribbon, and then you're going to take and start probably somewhere around here, because you want to leave a gap on one side in your stitching. So you're going to start around here, and I line the fabric up with the little lines on the little plate here. And you bring your presser foot down. And you're going to move the fabric. And once you start getting here to the corner, you're going to slow down a little bit. Bring your needle till it's about halfway, like right in the middle of where the ribbon is. I'm going to bring my foot up and pull my needle out. And then you rotate and bring the foot back down and go along the other side. Okay, once I get all the way around, I'll come back. Alright, I'm on my last little bit, and my stitch starts right here. I'm at this corner, and I'm just going to go along. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. See where my stitch is? Okay, my stitch is right there. So I'm giving myself a couple of inches there. of a gap. I'm going to bring my needle up, press the foot up, pull it out, trim my thread. Okay, so I've stitched all the way around, and now what I'm going to do is, with using this gap right here, I'm going to turn it right side out. Alright, I'm on my last little bit, and my stitch starts right here. I'm at this corner, and I'm just going to go along. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. See where my stitch is? Okay, my stitch is right there. So I'm giving myself a couple of inches there of a gap. I'm going to bring my needle up, press the foot up, pull it out, trim my thread. Okay, so I've stitched all the way around, and now what I'm going to do is, with using this gap right here, I'm going to turn it right side out. Okay, once you have it turned right side out, you're going to take and you're going to pull on your corners a little bit to make sure the corner's all the way out. Make sure you have them pulled all the way through. Alright, and then you're going to come where your gap is, right here. Alright. Okay, you're going to make sure it's folded. What I do to make sure I get my fold good is I come to where, a little bit past where the stitching starts, and I just kind of roll it in my fingers. Alright, and then do the other side the same way, the other side of the gap. And usually by the time you pull it and flatten it out, it'll be all even. But rolling that fabric between your fingers really helps to, to get it to where it's folding right on the stitch line. Alright, and then I take it into my machine, and I go, like, see, here's where the gap is. I go right before the gap starts, and I line it up right on the edge of the presser foot. Right on the edge. Like that. I'll move my stitch over where it'll do the design. Okay, and you put it down.
Are you pretending you make us in a show, Mom?
I'm not pretending, honey. Be quiet. Alright, and then you're going to start sewing. And you don't have to direct the fabric, okay? Because the machine will pull it straight. All you got to do is just make sure is that, as it's moving, it's not doing this number. So that's all you have to do, really. And when you're dealing with these things, it's
Hey, Mom.
because I don't bother with pressing it. You probably will have better luck, and it'll be easier if you press it first, where it's, right flat. But I just don't bother with pressing it. But if you don't press it, then you just stop periodically and kind of, roll it between your fingers till it gets right to the edge of the stitch, and kind of press it and flatten it down, and then keep going. You can see I'm stopping to kind of flatten it out some. Okay, when you start getting to your corner, you're going to want to flatten down a little bit, unless you've pressed it. If you've pressed it, then you probably don't have to worry about that. Very nice, honey. And then you slow down. And then what I do is I bring my arm around like this, and I grab it, and I go very slowly and just rotate. And then hold on, when I get around it, you'll be able to see it better. I'm going to roll this down so it lays flat. Okay. See? If you just rotate it slowly, you'll get that.
I did that.
Alright. And usually what I do is after I get past that first corner, I'll come around and I'll trim my thread off right at the edge. I like right where it first goes into the fabric, like right there. Just so that when I go to overlap it, to make sure it stays closed, that I won't have to try to, you know, if it gets tangled, it won't get tangled up with itself. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that and go all the way around. Okay, so I'm right here at the end, and my stitch begins here. So what, to make sure that it doesn't come undone, what I do is I go and I overlap it a little bit. There we go, overlapped. Bring my needle out, and then I come and snip it right up against there, and then you can actually see a little bit there where it's overlapped. But then you snap this side, and then there you go. There's a completed plain hammock. A completed hammock. And it'll look, if I can get a hold of it, something like that when it's hanging. If I can. So these hammocks can work for guinea pigs, rats, chinchillas, sugar gliders, ferrets, any kind of pet that likes being in hammocks. These will work for. Probably for something like a sugar glider, you might, or in rats, you might want to make it a little bit smaller. But this size, let's see, the finished size of it is about 13 inches. So in this hammock, this size hammock, I've had anywhere from 3 to all 5 of my ferrets fit in it. And with all 5 of them in there, they were, you know, falling out and stuff. But they usually don't all sleep in the same hammock, but at once anyway. So anyway, so there's the plain hammock, and I hope you guys enjoy trying to make it. See you later.